Are you searching for some summer desserts that are going to satisfy that sweet tooth but help you stay on track with your fat loss goals? Well, if so, you're in the right place because in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 2 of my favorite go-to summer sweet treats that you don't even have to bake. Hey, good people, and welcome back to the channel. I am Belinda J, just your average 55-year-old perimenopausal woman who set out on a journey to get rid of that busted can of biscuits, and I was able to do so in fairly a short period of time by adopting a high-protein lifestyle and making food swaps. And if you're new to a fat loss journey, not a weight loss journey, then look in the description box and grab your free copy of the Fat Loss Quick Start Guide. You'll also see here on the screen for all of my TV viewers a QR code, and all you have to do is hold your phone up to the QR code and it'll take you directly to the link for you to download it as well. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 2 of my summer sweet treats that I absolutely love, and they are strawberry shortcake bites and key lime cheesecake cupcakes. Now, it is summer, and you see it in the grocery store, all of these sweet treats. And like I know, that if you buy the big cheesecake or you buy a big strawberry shortcake, you're like, I'm just going to have a little piece. You know darn well you're going to end up eating the whole thing. I know I do. So that is why I'm going to be sharing with you on how to make bite-sized treats just like those that you see in the grocery store. So let's dive in to sweet treat number 1. This recipe I am calling the strawberry shortcake protein bite, and the flour base is going to be oatmeal. I did put this in my little chop and grinded it up just a little bit. This is about a cup of dry oatmeal. For the strawberries, I'm not going to be using fresh strawberries. I'm going to be using these free-dried strawberry crisp. I'm going to be using 2 packs. I got these from the Dollar Tree, so they were $1.25 for each pack. They also come in other flavors like this mixed berry, and I've already eaten the apple, but just know that they have a lot of different varieties. It really is just strawberries and sugar. It does have 3 grams of added sugar. That's why I'm not going to be adding any additional sugars to this protein bite. For the protein source, you could either use your Greek yogurt or cottage cheese. I'm out of cottage cheese, so I'm going to be using my Greek yogurt, but I'm also going to be adding in some plant-based protein powder, and my daughter got this collagen in a gift basket, so I'm going to be trying that as well, probably just 1 small scoop. You're going to need your nut butter of choice. I have an almond butter, but you could try cashew butter, maybe use some dates if you would like, but you're going to need some type of nut butter. Have my favorite spice, my cinnamon, my vanilla, and what's going to make it the shortcake is I'm going to be melting these white chocolate chips. Now keep in mind, white chocolate chips already has sugar as well, so no need to add additional. So you could either put some white chocolate chips on the inside of the ball or melt and dip like I'm going to do here. I'm just using this Ghirardelli classic white chips. And the first thing I'm going to do is put this in my little food processor and grind it down to a powdered form, because it comes in, if you've never had freeze-dried strawberries before, they look like this. So I'm going to put them in my chop so that they can grind and be very fine. And you don't really get that many. That's why you need 2 bags. But let's do that first, and then we'll mix everything else in the bowl. So here's the finished product of me grinding down the dried strawberries. I'm not really, trying to be perfect, so I don't really care that it does have some lumps in it, but that's what it looks like. So let's mix the ingredients. 1 cup of my oats, 1 scoop of this vanilla protein powder. I can't really wait to see if I notice any difference from my other one. 1 scoop of vanilla protein powder, the dried strawberries, all the cinnamon that I love, about 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. We're going to do 3 tablespoons of this Greek yogurt, or if you were using cottage cheese, it would be 3 tablespoons of your cottage cheese. Two tablespoons of your nut butter. And like I said, if you want to add some of the white chocolate chips on the inside, do that. Now let's just blend the ingredients. If after you're starting to blend and if it gets too dry, you can just add in a little bit of almond milk or regular milk, whatever you have. So I'm going to just keep mixing this up. And then after it's all mixed together, I'll start to form my balls. Mine is a little dry, so I'm going to add some milk. If you have fresh berries and you want to add those, then feel free. I just prefer to use the dried because the flavor is always consistent. You know, sometimes when you get fresh strawberries, sometimes they're not as sweet. But when you get the dried ones, the flavor to me pretty much stays consistent. And even sometimes I may add too much milk. So now I'm just going to add a little bit more oatmeal. I'm not going to worry about it not being ground up, but it's getting to the consistency that I like. So I'm going to be ready to roll my balls. So the next thing we need to do is just melt these chips, and I'm just going to put them in the microwave for 10-second increments just so that it doesn't overcook. So it's melted, so you could either drizzle or dip, whatever it is that you prefer. In the fridge for at least 30 minutes. So here they are, my strawberry shortcake protein bites. And I know what some of you are saying, that's not strawberry shortcake, that's oatmeal bites. It's my version of the strawberry shortcake. And this is what I like, so I'm gonna eat it. Now, if you really wanna make a strawberry shortcake, like look at the inside, this is mine, to be more like a cake pop, you can use the same recipe that I gave you, except substitute the oat flour for almond flour and then add an egg. I would probably use cottage cheese instead of yogurt because it bakes a little bit better in my experience. But then what you could do is you're going to form your regular balls just like this. And if you wanted to put ice cream sticks in it and then bake it, and then when it's done, then dip it in whether you make some kind of strawberry sauce, use the white chocolate, dark chocolate. It's your strawberry shortcake protein bite, honey, not mine. But that's what it looks like. So, if you're enjoying the content on this channel and you want to become a supporter, all you have to do is go to my homepage, click on the join button and become a channel member where you can go and look around and see all the different perks of each level of membership. Well, I'm going to finish eating this as usual, and you're going to go and watch how to make a no-bake cheesecake cupcake. This is going to be the easiest cheesecake recipe that you have ever seen. I'm going to be making a small batch, putting it in a 6-cup muffin tin because I just don't have enough people in this house to eat a whole cheesecake. So as I'm going through with the amount of ingredients that I'm using, if you're going to be using a traditional cheesecake pan, then just go ahead and just double or triple the recipe. But I'm going to be making a key lime cheesecake. I love key lime pie in the summertime. Nothing screams summer more than a key lime pie to me. So I'm going to be making a key lime cheesecake. And these are just going to be the required ingredients. I do have my 2 limes here that have already been washed. I'm going to be zesting them as well. And you just need a plain Greek yogurt and some softened cream cheese. Now I have this whipped cream cheese, which is already softened, and then your 0-calorie sweetener of choice, or if you want to use maple syrup, that's on you. For me, I'm going to be using this stevia. I'm not going to be using graham crackers or some of the other biscotti types of cookies to make the crust. I'm going to be making mine from scratch using some almond meal. I do have some milled flaxseed that's going to go in there. I have a little bit of these pecan fine pieces that I'm also going to mix together. And then I'm just going to use probably about 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of Irish butter to make my crust. This is 1/3 cup of the almond meal. This is 1 heavy tablespoon of the milled flaxseed. And I'm just going to use the rest of these pecan pieces. If you don't have pecan pieces, you can always grind up maybe some walnuts or some other type of nut that you have. And then my melted tablespoon of butter. Now, sometimes in my crust, I will add a little bit of lemon juice if I want to have a little bit more zest. But for the most part, this is it. If you find that your crust is a little dry, you can start with just like 1 tablespoon of water and then just go from there. So that's what I did, is added 1 tablespoon of water, and I think it's perfect. So now I'll just add it to my muffin tin. And if you're still struggling with sugar addiction, excuse me, I would just recommend that you add maybe just a teaspoon of brown sugar to your mixture if, once you've tasted it and you're like, gosh, it needs a little bit more sugar. Or you could just add maybe a teaspoon of your 0-calorie sweetener. But as you can see, what I'm doing now is just kind of mashing this down in the very bottom of the muffin tin, just so that when it sits in the fridge, it's going to be the perfect crust. I'm just going to sit this over to the side, and the next thing that I'm going to do is zest this lemon. And I know that a lot of my viewers are a lot of the new subscribers may not necessarily be bakers. So I, read your comment, and I totally understand where you're coming from. I'm going to do my best to try and simplify some of the things that I'm doing. Sometimes whenever you have done something for so long, you just forget that other people may not know exactly what you're talking about. So I'm going to be very mindful of that. So here I do have this lime and lemon squeezer. Comes 2 together, and it makes squeezing the lemons and limes very easy. Now, of course, you can always squeeze it with your hand. I just prefer to do it this way because it's easier, faster, and it gets all of the juice out. So there you have it for that. We'll sit that over to the side. That's our lime. Now, when it comes to zesting, I can't find my zester, my hand little zester. So I'm going to be using this grater. And if you've never zested a lemon before, you're basically just going to take it and kind of shave it like that, because there is a lot of flavor in the skin of lemons and limes. Of course, you do want to make sure that you've washed them off really good before you actually zest. So I'm going to zest, and then we're going to mix the other ingredients. And yes, I do know that this is a lime, and I don't know why I keep calling it a lemon. But yes, you can see here as we zest, it is coming off, and this cheesecake is going to be so good. I'm done zesting. Some of this is going to go in the cheesecake mixture and the rest I'll just put on top. We get started with 1 cup of Greek yogurt. Next, we have 4 ounces, which is half of this little tub of cream cheese. I'm doing 2 heavy teaspoons of my 0-calorie sweetener. And if you're using maple syrup or regular sugar will still be equal to the 2 teaspoons. If you're using maple syrup, I'm not really sure. You would have to kind of just test that out. Now, what else I'm going to be adding in mine? You know, I cannot pretty much bake without adding in a little bit of collagen. So this is going to boost me up total for probably about another 20 grams of protein. I love a little chia seeds in mine. If you want to grind yours up, feel free to do so. I'm not. Next, I'm going to add my lime juice and some of my zest. And then we're just going to stir. That's it. Stir, 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 stir. It tastes really good, but I'm going to add some more lime. I just, like I said, just love me some lime. This was the zested lime anyway, so might as well just go ahead and use it. So we'll add that and stir some more. That extra lime was exactly what it needed. So now we're just going to dip in our filling and put it in the fridge. So this is the key lime no bake cheesecake. And you can see there's the crust, there's a little cheesecake, and it's just enough to satisfy the sweet tooth. Now, I do need to tell you something about these cheesecakes. I don't know why I've made this a gazillion times, but sometimes depending on the yogurt that you have, even if the yogurt is all Greek yogurt, all plain, sometimes different yogurts set differently. Some will set and be just like cheesecake. Some will be a little creamier. So what I would recommend that you do, of course, the first time that you make it with the yogurt that you're using, you're going to see whether or not that particular yogurt is going to make the cheesecake like this, or if it's going to be, it's not going to be runny, but it's not going to be as firm. What you can do if you love the yogurt that you have and your cheesecake doesn't come out as firm, you can also add in a little bit more chia seeds because that will absorb and kind of firm up your cheesecake. Another option would be to add in maybe a half a pack of sugar-free Jell-O cheesecake pudding mix as well. So those are just 2 of the options. But I love key lime pie. I love key lime cheesecake. And this is great because, like I said, it's going to satisfy me. And I can move on without having to eat the whole big cheesecake from the grocery store. Well, that's it for my 2 summer sweet treats. I hope you go out and try it. And if you found this content entertaining, interesting, informative, then definitely consider liking, subscribing, sharing it with a family or friend who's on a fat loss journey and wants to know how they can continue to eat what they love, but just make it a little different to help that belly fat. Well, you know how this goes. I'm going to continue eating. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.